Sweeties, how are you doing? Welcome to Naya Sim or Cimnanya. If this is your first time of coming across this channel, sweetheart, smash that subscribe button, turn your notification so you are notified each time I upload, and please give this video a thumb up. I appreciate you all so much, and I'm saying massive shout out to every one of you for the love, the support you all give me here. I am grateful, and you all are super sweet. So today we'll be talking something very important, and it's about what a video a pop-colored woman made, and she was screaming that the Boomer Democrats are about to take away their some rights from them, like, and they are about to do no fault divorce, and you all know when no fault divorce is involved, like, you can't just leave your marriage because like maybe the other party also doesn't want you to leave or wants to make the divorce and kind of hard for you. And then let's talk about this. You all know that pop-colored people always vote against their own interest without even knowing it, and most times they do this because they think black people are going to suffer it and all that. You all remember affirmative actions, how they did not want affirmative actions, or not knowing that they are the most benefited from that affirmative action. Now they voted Democrats, and the boomers, and now they are about to do no fault divorce and all that. And a lot of people are also coming out to talk about it. Some think like men hate them. This got nothing to do with men. It is the people that is about to enact this no fault divorce that are the problem. Because I don't know how somebody will say, I do not want to be in a marriage anymore because of maybe abuse or something, or maybe they are no longer compatible and all that. And you are telling the person to go back to the marriage that, I think this thing is going to, it's very risky in my own opinion. And at the same time, I mean, some people may end up start dying because, like, how do you live in the same house with somebody you do not want anymore because of no fault, no default, divorce and all that? You know what? Let's get into this video.
Old boomer Republicans are at it again, but this time they're trying to make divorce illegal, and I don't know why more people aren't talking about it because this is very worrying. So we all remember a little while back when Roe v. Wade was overturned, right? And Republicans disguised it as a scare tactic like abortion bill. Well, unfortunately, it was actually so much more than that. Roe v. Wade essentially protected our right to privacy, which covers way more than just pregnancy. Because really, the right to privacy protected so many things like trans, LGBT, women. And when that was overturned, we knew that everything else was now up on the chopping board for attack, and what Republicans have decided to own in on right now is the right to a divorce. So what's happening right now is Republican representatives in states like Texas, Louisiana, etc. are trying to fight and get overturned the no-fault divorce rules. And what are the no-fault divorce rules? Well, I'm so glad you asked. Way back in the day, when women were treated as property, like they're trying to do now, a woman had to present a reason why she wanted to be divorced, and she had to back that up in a court of law. It was actually hard to get a divorce. If you wanted to leave your marriage because you were unhappy, you couldn't do that. You had to prove why you were unsafe or why you couldn't stay in that marriage anymore, and obviously this put a lot of women in danger. Because obviously all that stuff, as we know, is really hard to prove. So the creation of the no-fault divorce just meant that either party could safely leave the marriage if they just decided they didn't want to be married anymore, which is a valid reason to not want to be married anymore. I'm sorry, Braden, if I don't want to be married to you anymore, you can't just chain me to a chair in the basement and keep me there. I'm a person, not an object. You can't just force me to stay with you, okay? And a lot of the Republicans speaking up and supporting this are like, well, my wife just decided she was unhappy one day and left, and I didn't even get a say in it. Buddy, I promise you probably had plenty of says in it, okay? Would it have killed you to remember an anniversary or Cheryl's birthday even once? No, okay? And you can't just force her to stay with you. But unfortunately, we know that the GOP does not see women as people, but they're just trying to revoke our rights slowly, one by one, until we just become property to them again. And I don't think I need to elaborate further on how concerning that is and how worried I am that no one is talking about what's happening right now. And what absolutely amazes me the most is that boomers will pull stuff like this and then sit around and wonder why Gen Z is fighting back and deciding not to get married and settle down anymore. Disrespectfully, it sounds awful. No one wants to be married to you for the rest of forever, Stan, and pumping out your kids like a prized cattle at the state fair. Old boomer Republicans are at it again, but this time they're trying to make divorce illegal, and I don't know why more people aren't.
Women, what more documentation do you need that men do not like us? They hate us. They want us to be turned into slaves, permanent slaves, locked down indentured servants that are barefoot and pregnant and that can cook and put up with their dirty drawers that have moose tracks in them because they don't know how to wipe. I don't know about you. If they outlaw divorce, every woman should never get married. You should not even touch it. And honestly, God, you shouldn't even look at a man, because even just being in a relationship and trying to date these dudes is literally terrifying. You're risking your life dealing with men, periodly. Like, as I said in my last video, when you go on a date, you literally have to perform a mini CIA investigation on this person to make sure they're telling the truth, because these men lie so much. And this is the thing, though. Men will put on a representative and pretend like they're the nice guy and stuff, but when you get them behind closed doors, they turn into a Pookie and Ray Ray real quick. All these men is nothing but hard peen and cheap liquor and problems. There's nothing that they're gonna give you. And at the end of the day, women, you're gonna have to fight for yourself, because nobody's gonna fight for you. Do not willy-nilly get into some marriage with somebody. I've had bosses tell me that when she got married to another man who was previously divorced and had like 50-50 custody with his child, she told me that her family now is landlocked into the state of Tennessee, pretty much in the Middle Tennessee area, because when you get a divorce, especially if children, they try to lock you down in that state. Even if he quadruples his income, and it would be better for the child in general overall to like go take advantage of an opportunity in another state, he can't go and do that without risking losing the custody that he has with his child, because the mom's located in Tennessee. I don't know about you. That does not sound like the life that I want to live. I don't want to be tied down to anybody that I do not wish to be around anymore. And this is the other thing too. Getting divorced is not like what it used to be back in the day. My grandmother spent years trying to get divorced from a narcissist. It took years to get a divorce. And the other thing is this: divorce is extremely expensive. The average divorce is about $7,000 to $10,000. But the thing is this: that number can quadruple by 10 times if you have one party that wants to be crazy. And see, the thing is this: the government will let them do it because the government profits off of the dysfunction. Same thing does the lawyers. The more you guys want to fight, the more money the lawyers make. This whole system is set up to benefit off of your pain and your suffering. I mean, you could, like, low-key, if your spouse is really that terrible, that you could be in arrearages for like divorce debt for like hundreds of thousands of dollars. And I don't know about you, I'm not trying to do all of that. That is a waste of money, time, and energy to fight somebody because you don't want to be with them anymore. It's crazy. And all these women becoming unalived by their spouses and stuff when they try to leave them and stuff, it's just too dangerous. So I don't know about you, but I'm taking a break off of dating. I ain't concerned about no marriage because men do not want to be partners. They want to enslave me, and I'm not doing no slave type of relationship. Slavery ended with the Emancipation Proclamation, and I'm done with that, and I'm a free person. I'm gonna live free and live my best life. So I want to thank you guys for listening to my video. But anyway, let me know in the comment section what you guys think about the government trying to get rid of no-fault divorce. But I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.
Old boomer Republicans are at it again, but this time they're trying to make divorce illegal, and I don't know why more people aren't talking.
You know, a lot of people saw this shit coming miles away. When they killed off Roe v. Wade, it was like they're going to come for a whole bunch of other stuff that involves women existing freely in the United States. And it is beyond fucked. And to make matters worse, you know, we were too busy being distracted, gaslighting, girl bossing, and gatekeeping. You know, we were way too busy having free the nipple protests with conventionally attractive white women who would totally not want to have a free the nipple protest if they saw plus size women joining in. We were too busy laughing at Tradwife TikTok and their stupid clown shoes caricature of what they imagine having traditional family values was really going to get them. It's not just going to be you baking apple pies and cleaning the house, Susan. You're going to get legally sexually assaulted if the Republicans have their way. You're going to be forced to pump out kids you didn't plan on. You want money for Target shopping? Don't even think about it, sis. It's not going to happen. You're on his dime. You won't have any financial freedom. If he beats you and cheats on you and you want to leave, if the Republicans have their way, you're not going to be able to. You're going to have to take all of those hits. and find a really, really good way to legally get out of that marriage. Have fun with that, I guess. We're talking about a life of doing drugs just to cope with the day-to-day responsibilities of being a housewife, thanks to these Republican bills that are trying to be passed. We're talking amphetamines to help you clean the house and quaaludes just to take the edge off. Because the main people that don't want no-fault divorces to happen are the kinds of scumbags that are happy to abuse their spouses. We're talking about Matt Walsh. We're talking about Steven Crowder. We're talking about right-wing, straight, cis men. And they're going to use traditional family values, and they're going to bastardize the Bible, and they're going to say all sorts of awful, misshapen, untrue rhetoric to justify their actions. And while I may be snide and a bit smug in my delivery, don't get it twisted. The fact that it is going to be this problematic for women in the United States of America pains me. It saddens me and it sickens me. Because it's going to put a lot of undeserving women in really, really horrible situations in which they may not come out of it alive. Or they may not come out of it without some kind of jail time. Because anytime you box someone in and use fear and coercion to maintain a marriage instead of doing what you're supposed to do to maintain a healthy marriage, people do desperate things. If you want to know what's going to happen when the Republicans get their way, I highly suggest watching the movie or reading the book called The Burning Bed. It was a 1980s book and a 1984 movie starring Farrah Fawcett. And it was about a woman named Francine Hughes who endured a whole bunch of domestic abuse. All sorts of domestic abuse. To the point where she literally burned her husband in his bed. Burned him to death. I'm not kidding. True story. And if you want further insight as to what's going to happen when Republicans get their way and women can't divorce toxic and abusive men in their toxic and abusive marriages, well, in 1999, the Chicks, formerly known as the Dixie Chicks, had this to say. It's going to be horrible for women, but it's also going to backfire on men spectacularly. Like, that Republican man is going to think he's got it made in the shade and he's totally getting laid, but then he's going to find out that his favorite dinner tastes funny and he's not going to wake up from it. And as the bodies drop, look, I'm going to ask the same question that I asked an Amazon manager when I was discussing the mistreatment that Amazon workers go through every day. How many times do you think you're going to be able to beat your wife before she kills you? Because trust me, in this day and age, with all of this information and all of this knowledge and all of these women knowing too much for Republicans to handle, trust me, it's not going to be very many beatings. And to the white feminists who voted for whiteness, voted against their actual interests or their best interests, you gonna learn. You gonna learn. And it's not gonna be fun. And I wish you didn't have to go through it, but you're gonna have to learn. Because it's not gonna be pretty. But it doesn't have to be this way. We can fight against it. We can talk more about it. We can cast our votes where they need to be cast. We can overthrow who we need to overthrow. The point is that we have to do something. Because Whatever negatively impacts women in society negatively impacts everyone. God, come to think of it, I think we're going to see a thin line between love and hate part 2. I'm talking hot grits.
Old boomer Republicans are at it again, but this time they're trying to make divorce illegal, and I don't know why more people aren't.
Hey everybody, go back and look at that video in its entirety and then get back to me. Well, who didn't see this coming? To say I told you so is an understatement, but I'm going to say it anyway. We as black women told you so. You see, white women are always voting for whiteness, but now it's really going to cost you because the target in all of this, with the abortion rights and everything else, has always been you. We are collateral damage. You see, the powers that be, they don't give a shit about us. They don't care if we get abortions. They don't care what we do. You've always been the target. Now, here's what's going to happen. You see, we tried to warn you about Roe versus Wade, and truth of the matter is, who didn't see this coming? Now they're attacking divorce. They're going to get rid of no-fault divorce. What that means is you can no longer decide that your husband's an asshole, so you want to leave so you can have a better life. Nope. Now you're going to have to prove that he's an asshole. So if you are with an emotional abuser or a verbal abuser like I was, you can no longer prove that you need to get out of this marriage. See, if he's not beating the shit out of you, then you really won't have a reason to leave. Now, trust me, as a military wife, one of the things that pissed many of us off was the chaplains had the power to keep us overseas. That's right. You had to go to marriage counseling to make sure your marriage was really over. And the chaplain had the power to say, oh no, they just need to be in marriage counseling. Or your husband or your wife or spouse, whatever the case may be, could go in and literally tell the chaplain, I can't work and function without my spouse being there. And then guess what? You were stuck in marital counseling. Well, they went to anger management or whatever, but you still had to stay. Now, that was bad enough for military spouses. Now, thanks to you non-melanated women who were voting for your whiteness, all of us are going to be stuck in that situation. So I hope that for those of you who are unhappy in your marriages, you get out now, because if they pass this law, that's going to go bye-bye. The next thing that's going to happen, which is the logical progression of things, is going to be now they're going to get rid of marital rape. That's right. They're going to take that off the books, because if you can be forced to stay married, your husband will be able to force himself onto you, and it won't be considered rape. It will be considered your marital duty as a wife to let your husband have sex with you no matter what. That means sick, after surgery, after having a baby, whenever he feels like it. And if you don't fulfill your marital duties, he will have the right under the law to rape you. That's right. They had to put that into law, and I think that just went into law in the 80s, and now you all are going to lose that. So, as if that wasn't bad enough, it gets worse. The next law that they will probably enact will be, if you get raped, in order for your rapist not to go to jail, he'll have to agree to marry you. You didn't think that was possible, did you? But we didn't think Roe versus Wade would get overturned either. So, everyone who's watching this, if you wonder why women are losing their rights, look no further than our non-melanated counterparts that went in and betrayed all of us because they voted for whiteness first in the patriarchy, even though they came out in the streets and marched with us, and they told us we were a sisterhood. We are collateral damage. You, the non-melanated white tea people, you women, your goose is cooked. And guess what? They're going to take you back to where you have no rights. It's coming. Project 2025 is coming. So you better not get used to having that checkbook, that credit card. No sense in trying to get that car loan anymore, because everything's going to be under your husband's control. Thank you, non-melanated women, for taking us all the way back to 1920. You see, you thought you were just taking something from us, because the bottom line is, let's be honest, you all don't want us as black folks to get anything. So now you're going to lose everything. Congratulations. Couldn't happen to a better group of people. And with that, thanks, and have a great day.
Old boomer Republicans are at it again, but this time they're trying to make divorce illegal, and I don't.
As someone who does eventually want to get married, I can tell you that this will not reduce the number of divorces. This will increase the number of men dying mysteriously from poison.
Old boomer Republicans are at it again, but this time they're trying to make divorce illegal, and I don't know why more people aren't talking.
not a Republican or a boomer here, but the reason they're trying to get rid of specifically no-fault divorces is actually kind of to protect men. And here's the thing. If you're a woman and you get married to a man and you just decide you want to cheat on him, leave him, whatever, you can then do whatever you want, take him to court, divorce him, and take half his stuff. What they're trying to get rid of isn't no-fault divorces in the sense that they want to keep you chained up or locked up. That's not the point. Listen, you can get divorced if you want. They want to make it so that when you get divorced, you can't take half of his stuff. That's the end goal. That's why, if you notice, they got rid of stuff like permanent alimony. It's all about protecting the wealth that you have going into a marriage. So that way you can't get taken for everything.
This time they're trying to make divorce illegal, and I don't know why more people aren't talking about it, because this is very worrying.
But didn't you ladies vote for these guys? Their radical ideas? Because you thought it would affect others? And now it's affecting you? And you want us to feel some type of way? Nah. We're gonna pass. Like we passed supporting you guys with Roe v. Wade. And a lot of people said, well, no fault divorce affects everybody. Yeah, it affects you more. So think about who you're going to vote for next time. And don't think, well, it's just for them. It's going to punish what they do. No. It always comes down after they get finished with those people, that group. They're going to come to you. Always happens and always will.
But if we have no fault divorce, she can just leave me. She can just leave me whenever she wants. And I don't get a say. I can't make her stay. Why can't I just chain her in my basement? Oh, let's make a law. There we go. Oh, that's so much better. Oh, they're gonna love it.
So this is all I got from this video, and man, I don't know if this is a very great move, because like, why would they do something like no fault divorce? I mean, this way, I think there are so many disadvantages to this, because like, if it is not working, it is not working, and you all got to go your separate ways. Divorce shouldn't be something that should be very hard or very difficult to get, knowing the fact that both parties are not like compatible together, and there is no need staying back in the marriage, and because like, they do not want to divorce, the no fault divorce and all that. And also, why would they even want to think like that? Like, do they want people to start dying? Because like, putting two people that are not compatible in a place, man, it's going to cause a lot of havoc. And then let's come back to pop-colored women who actually, they always vote against their own interest, thinking that it is going to affect Black people or something, and then it ends up affecting them, just like affirmative action. And now they were boomers, Democrats or what, they not want to like no fault divorce and the rest of it. I think they are even the ones that get divorced more and all that. I mean, it is going to be wild in my own opinion. I think it's not a great thing. I mean, and when two parties decided that it is not okay, or maybe one part it is not going great, maybe for the man, it is not going great for the man, and the man wants to pull out, and you all want to say that a no fault divorce is allowed and the rest of it, man, that is very risky, and also at the same time wild. So I think people should get divorced when they feel like, yeah, if they say it is not going great for them anymore. I think the best way to go around it is to separate. There is no need trying to stop the other party not to go because of no fault divorce and all. Do you want people to start dying one after the other? No way. So this is all I got for, like, let me know what you all think in the comment section, because I really don't get all of this. See you all in my next video. Bye for now.